Hey guys, this is Robinats1 here. So we have just reached 400 videos. So I figured I would do something for that. I figured I would show you my comic book collection. So obviously, I have reviewed all of this. In some shape or form, it's been reviewed. There are a few bits that I haven't reviewed, but I figured I would review them. I figured I would show you my comic book collection as it stands right now, and just have fun discussing comics, really. Obviously, I am not doing anything comic book related right now. You do have your comic book haul, but that's every month. And I'm not really getting a lot of books right now. So I figured you guys are gonna have around about a month where you're not gonna be getting very many books, very many reviews. So I decided I would take this time just to show you guys my comic book collection, and just discuss each book as it stands. To discuss each book and whether or not you should pick it up. Just briefly. So we're gonna start with Marvel, and then we're gonna basically go Marvel, DC, and then single issues. It might be in multiple parts. We'll just see what happens. So, first off, we have Iron Man Extremis. This book is really, really good. And obviously, I will leave annotations for where you can find the review. Yeah, Iron Man Extremis is really, really good. I think certainly for viewers wanting to get into Iron Man, this would be a good place to start. Obviously, yes, we have Secret Wars, and we don't know what's going to happen after Secret Wars. But if you're just looking for a really, really good Iron Man story, this is the book to pick up. Certainly for those of you who are into the Marvel movies, Iron Man Extremis was the book that inspired a lot of the Iron Man films. It definitely was a source material from Iron Man 3, and there's a little bit of source material used from this book in the first Iron Man film. So it's definitely a book for those of you who are interested in the Iron Man character, but looking to get into the comic books, looking to get into the comic book medium. Well worth picking up. We then have the Astonishing X-Men Volume 1. And this is the book that Whedon did. Basically, Whedon did a few Marvel writing, and he really, really did a lot for the X-Men. And also he did a lot for the character of Kitty Pryde. And I think a lot of what Whedon established, we are now seeing in X-Men. And that Whedon's run basically set up a lot of that, or certainly contributed a lot to what we're now seeing with X-Men. So in this movie, it's the all about the cure, which X-Men 3 utilized a lot in that movie. And it's one of my favorite books. The stuff going on with Scott Summers and Emma Frost was interesting. I thought Whedon wrote the team very, very well. And I just really, really liked it. My main problem with the book, as I mentioned in my review, is mainly the fact that the X-Men do a lot of infighting. Everyone is fighting each other and it can get a bit annoying sometimes. But yeah, guys, this is definitely a book to be picking up. Whedon and all of his run is actually really, really interesting, and his run basically consists of Astonishing X-Men Volume 2, which is basically a Danger Room volume. And you feel free to check out my review of it. It's a really, really good book. And we also have Volume 3 as well, which is all about the Hellfire Club. And in each of Whedon's book, building up to Volume 4, you have the Beyonders. And the Beyonders are obviously a massive thing for Secret Wars. So yeah, guys, this is Whedon's run is a very, very good book to be buying, and it's well worth picking up. So now we get on to the House of M, and one of the first events that I did a review for on this channel. This book, I liked the idea of House of M. I didn't care much for the story. Basically, it's Scarlet Witch basically saying no more mutants, which wipes out the mutant population to near extinction. And obviously was a major part of what Marvel was doing at the time. The book is, again, interesting. It's just the panel. I had a big problem with the panel layouts. They were really, really confusing, and I think there was a lot going on in this story. And again, the same can be said for Marvel Civil War. But this book specifically was very, very confusing. And there were a lot of stuff in this book that was hard to follow. But it also kind of ties in with the Astonishing X-Men. The Astonishing X-Men team do show up in this book. Let me just show you. Yeah, the Astonishing X-Men do actually appear in this book, and it's a really, really nice little cameo story. I'm not sure when House of M entirely takes place within Whedon's run, but I think it's about the middle, just after the first one. So if you are reading, Astonishing X-Men, you could pick up this book. The books, as far as I'm aware, don't cross over with one another. Like, Whedon's run doesn't end because of House of M, and Whedon's run basically continues its run through the end. So House of M doesn't interfere with Whedon's run, but Whedon's characters do play a role in this book. So my next book is The Marvel Civil War. This book, again, was a major player in the Marvel Comics, and essentially split the Marvel universe at the time into two. Those who are with Captain America and those who are with Iron Man. And it's going to be the source material for Captain America's Civil War, which is the third Captain America movie. Which, as it stands right now, we're going to have Hawkeye in there, Black Widow, Iron Man, and possibly even the Spider-Man character because of the Sony and Marvel deal. So this book is a pretty big deal in the world of comics. And it's a very important story with a lot of commentary regarding the aftermath of 9/11. It was, I think the book was made in 2003, I want to say. And it basically established the importance of security and freedom, and what the world values, and it has a lot of American politics within it. You do have to scrape for the ideas in this book, but once you get these ideas, the book is really good. And it is well worth picking up, even if, it is well worth picking up for the artwork, and the story. These elements really make this book really good. So, my next one is AVX, Avengers vs. X-Men, which I have done a review recently on. I absolutely loved reading this book. I'm probably one of a few people who do like the book, but I loved this book. And it basically introduced Marvel Now into the comics. And I just really liked the story of AVX. I liked the idea of what was happening in the book. I just really liked it, and there are some great moments in this book. It's a shame that Hope Summers, after Avengers vs. X-Men, sort of disappeared from the Marvel continuity, because it would have been nice to get her input as to what the world's like now, and what Scott Summers is doing for mutants. But again, guys, it is a really good read. And even if you find the book really irritating, it's not an irritating book. I'm using the wrong word, but even if you find the story, even if you find there are some elements to the story that are a bit bad, it is a good read, and as a book, it is really, really good to read. So the next book is Original Sin, which, and it's annual. Original Sin, annual. Original Sin, basically saw the death of the Watcher, and Nick Fury becoming a character who sort of becomes the new Watcher. I thought the book was good. I think some of it kind of trailed in the end. I can't really remember what my review of the book was. I can't remember whether I enjoyed it or not. I think the idea of the book being more of a detective story did trail off in the end. And it sort of became all about Nick Fury, and it didn't, and it sort of lost that detective story-ish aspect to it. But it is a good read, and it is all part of, this big Civil War aspect. Not Civil War, sorry. It is all part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Not Cinematic Universe, sorry. I mean, Secret Wars. That's what I mean. Sorry. I meant Secret Wars. Yeah, it's all part of the Marvel Secret Wars story. The annual is terrible. I didn't like the annual one bit. I thought what could have been a great premise about Tony Woodrow and him being the man on the wall, him having a different look on how he did his job than Nick Fury, and was Nick Fury more efficient than Woodrow, was kind of lost in this book, and it wasn't a very, very good book. Like, the actual event itself was better than the annual itself. So that's that. You then have Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1. Bits of this book actually do contribute to the movie. At least the first issue does, which basically is about Star-Lord's early history. The book is good. I didn't very much care for it. I can't remember why I didn't care for it. I just didn't really care for it that much. Like, it's one of those cases where I feel like the movie did it better. So we then have Uncanny X-Men, Volume 1 through 5. Volume 1 was a really, really good story. Volume 2, not so much. I felt like Volume 2 really dropped the mark on the whole, on the whole on the whole artwork. This book has a real problem with art inconsistency. It has been one of my key complaints throughout the run of the book, is that the artwork has been really, really inconsistent. And I don't like inconsistent artwork in books, because when you read them in trade, I feel like it makes it very, very jarring to read, and I don't like that when I read books. But I thought that what Bendis was doing with Uncanny X-Men was really, really interesting. And basically really set up a good bunch of characters. My sole problem with the book right now is the fact that we're not getting a revolution. We're not getting the thing that the book kind of promised us. It did kind of promises us that we would have this revolution. We would have this revolution that Scott Summers would lead. And he hasn't really done it very well. Unfortunately. So that's at least volume 1 through 4. I haven't done a review for volume 5 yet, but my overall impressions from volume 5 was the story was good. But again, it trailed off at the end. And you'll basically... I'm not going to talk too much more about Volume 5. Other than it's an interesting look at the X-Men 3 premise. The X-Men 3 concept of... what Charles Xavier did in regards to controlling Jean Grey, and it's basically established that he does the same similar thing to another mutant, and it's the same similar premise to that, and also you have a couple of annuals with Eva, aka the Tempest. So that's the Marvel traits for you, and click on that corner there for the DC traits.